in the UPSL, the schedule is off and running. But our friends at North Georgia United had a really cool moment happen for them as a franchise recently. And it was with one of their players, Jaycee Carpenter. And you know Jaycee from his time in Campbell High School in Smyrna and Cobb County. And he was set to go to the University of North Greenville, but his career path and what he wants to do away from the field has taken him in a different direction. But his time at North Georgia United has given him an opportunity to get a tryout and go to a camp in Spain. And now that he's back on this side of the Atlantic, we wanted to catch up with him for a little bit and find out what that experience was like. And so we're going to play a little bit of this interview with Jaycee Carpenter, then come back on the flip side, and we're going to go through all the other news that's going on. We've got Open Cup to get into. We've got cup sets to get into. We've got all the things to get into starting at the bottom of the hour. But Jaycee Carpenter had a really cool moment for a very, very young man who has just he's finished high school and he's trying to figure out what he wants to do on the field and off. Sounds like on the field he knows. But here's when we caught up with Jaycee Carpenter the other day, once again, recent graduate, Campbell High School, North Georgia United, UPSL. And then he gets a ring from Sporting Gijon, and he ends up at a camp in the Segunda in Spain. Here's a little bit of our conversation with Jaycee Carpenter. Enjoy. So I guess first off, Jaycee, how does it feel to be back on this side of the Atlantic after everything had happened?
You know, it feels good. I mean, my parents, my family are all here. So, I mean, yeah, it's nice to see them again. And, yeah, I mean, low-key, I do prefer Spain. Like the weather, everything's over there is better. The food is better. So, I mean,
we'll get into that. Since you opened that door, I want to get into that here in a second. But what I want to do for folks that may not know your entire story, I want to introduce you to everyone. Obviously, folks at North Georgia United and the fan base up there, they know what you've meant to them and all of your different stages. So I want to go back to the beginning and your relationship with North Georgia United. How did that come to be? How did the two of you get introduced to one another, and what's it been like for you there?
Okay. So I started playing for North Georgia like senior year of high school, I would say. So the fall right before the spring season. And I was just looking to play UPSL, and I know Sal, and the coach was Kenneth at the time as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we just went, me and my brother, for like a tryout one day for a practice. I think I emailed him, and they, liked us, and we just stuck with them. And yeah, it's been great. Yeah.
And for those that may not know your history, it's attached to Campbell High School there in Smyrna. Is it Smyrna, Smynington, or is it true?
Yeah.
Is it true Smyrna?
Smyrna.
Okay, straight. So it's not like on the border of Smyrna and Vinings, or Smyrna and Mableton and Vinings in that little triangle.
It's straight Smyrna. Yeah.
Straight Smyrna.
Yeah.
So when you were at Campbell, what did you carry with you from your high school years? Obviously, then you go from there and get some activity there in UPSL, and folks may know you from your time at NGU and what that has been like. So when you came out of college, you said you wanted to play NPSL, and you're associated with NGU. Trying to navigate all of that and try to be ready for that next level. What did you think that you needed to work on leaving Campbell and heading to the next level, whether it was UPSL or college or eventually the tryout? What did you think you still needed to work on?
I think for me, it's always been like the physical. I've been trying to get faster, stronger. Like the strong parts of my game are on the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Everything on the ball. I think that's the special part of me. But also it's the speed and just thinking quicker and just knowing what you're gonna do before you get it. I think that's the main thing, and also being like gritty,
Okay.
being gritty as well.
Because GHSA and that region that you're in there in Cobb County, I mean, it is knock down, drag out. You're knocking each other around, and I mean, it is nothing to be messed with. So I understand getting that foundation of being gritty and surviving that, and in the higher classifications in 6A. I mean, in Georgia in the GHSA.
Yeah.
But when you went into the UPSL, how did that and your time at North Georgia United help? How did it help you continue to grow in that what you were looking to get better at? How was that next stage for you there with the UPSL?
I mean, I think I was like one of the youngest players on the team, so everyone's like 20s, 30s, I don't know. And so yeah, they're physical, they're bigger, stronger. So yeah, you just have to like adjust, every day in practice. You just learn. Yeah. So
I mean, you're kind of sitting there and you're saying it by yourself. You're the youngest dude out there going up against some 20 somethings. That's going to get you gritty quick, isn't it?
yeah, you have to. Yeah. If you want to play, yeah.
Then how did the conversation happen to go overseas? How did that happen? Were they tracking your tapes and all of the video that you would post? How did this come to be?
So the opportunity like in Spain came from a bit earlier, like when I was, I think I was 17, 16. It was when I played ECNL. I played
Okay.
ECNL, and I was at a showcase, and there was like a scout there, and we just saw me play, and we just kind of kept in contact. And yeah, I had some film, like highlight videos, and I would send it to him, and he would, send it over to his connections over there in Spain. And yeah, they offered me to go on trial with them for 2 weeks. And that's how it came to be.
Okay, so then break this down for me. So how long ago was this? When did they make that first contact about, hey, we want you to come over?
ECNL year, I was under 17s, so I'd say like 2024.
Okay, so 2 years ago. And then the recent contact where they really started to look at your stuff and they're like, okay, we need you over here now to come over here in 2 weeks. When did that happen?
We started talking in the last fall, 2025.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you go over. How much of an did you go over by yourself? Did parents, did anybody go over with you as kind of like a sounding board or anything? Who else went over?
Just me. Yeah, just me. Went over there, and the staff was already there. Someone came pick me up from the airport, from the club. Saw me. Yeah. All 3 flights.
All right. So, how long a flight are we talking here? How many different flights are we? How many stopovers and all of the chaos to get from there to here? How long a journey are we talking?
All right. It's from here. It was from here to Paris to Madrid, and then Madrid to Gijon, which is the north of Spain. Yeah.
And how much of a culture shock was it for you when you finished all your flights, then you're heading to Gijon? I mean, how much of a culture shock, how much of a shock to your system, not the athlete you, but to the person you, was this, 18, 19 years old, heading over there and seeing this entirely different part of the planet? What was that like for you?
Oh, it was cool. Yeah, it was just, everyone's just speaking. It sounds like just gibberish. Just everyone's just speaking a whole different language. It was the culture.
Mm-hmm.
I would say in France, I didn't really spend too much time in France, so I wouldn't know. But in Spain, it's very nice and the people are very welcoming, and they take care of you. So yeah.
When it came to the language barrier and having to tackle that to make sure that you understood just everything from basic conversation to what they were wanting of you on the field. How did you cross that line, and what was communication like?
So in the club, they would have like at least one person, one lady would know English, so she would translate pretty much everyone. And yeah, it would just be the lady. And then the coaches, yes, that was the rough part. Like in the training,
Mm-hmm.
they would pretty much speak Spanish. But I mean, I was learning Spanish before, just so I could understand, here and there some sayings that they're saying. But yeah, it was a bit rough in the training sessions, but
And that was why I wanted to ask, because how much Spanish had you had, in high school or anything, or was that a second language for you, or how much exposure have you had in the past?
I took 3 Spanish classes in high school.
Okay.
But I think you learn best by speaking.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I would speak here and there, like play indoor games like futsal and stuff. There'll be mostly Spanish guys, but
okay.
Yeah.
So how was your learning curve and trying to understand what the coaches were asking of you when you didn't have I imagine the staff translator? Was she? I don't think she was there with you at practice, was she?
No, she wasn't. No.
Right. So then how are you trying to learn what they're looking from you in this tryout situation? Because going in, there's pressure on one aspect of it because you want to perform. Then there's the internal pressure of, while you're there, trying to understand what their demands are of you, so you can show them what you are capable of. So I imagine there's a lot going on mentally, both in the idea of trying to understand them and then implement just what they're trying to have you do out there on the pitch. What was that process like for you?
Really, I would understand like most of the point. Like they would show the point of the drill. Like they would walk over it first before like going full speed, and then they would I mean, if I didn't understand, I would just ask a team, like the teammate. Some of them knew English, so I mean, not good English, but some of them I could understand like what they're telling me. So yeah, I would just ask them if I didn't understand it.
Okay.
Have to learn fast. Yeah.
So how fast did you learn?
Yeah, it was pretty fast. Yeah, I was.
Okay.
Yeah, he explained the drill. He would show it like one time. I mean, I pretty much got I got the concepts pretty quick. So, yeah.
How do you think you did, and what was their feedback over the time that you were there for the trial?
I felt I did well. Like they liked me as well. We had a meeting like during the first week. Like we had a meeting. They were saying, yeah, the coaches liked what they saw, and they were honest. They were saying coming as an international, it's going to be difficult to like sign anything, and that since I'm 18, I'm still like a academy player. But as soon as I turn like next season, I'm a senior player, so I have to be like signing a contract, like a senior team contract. So, but yeah, I mean, they were honest. They're like, yeah, we like you, and they invited me to play for a tournament with their under 19s, which I was training with in April, and then to come back again in August, potentially to play 5th division over there, which is high level, but it's fit. Yeah.
So now that April is coming, are you going to head back there to be a part of the Rojiblancos?
Yeah, we're still talking about it.
All right.
In the family, yeah, but
okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
What's it like for you and for the family to have these kinds of discussions about, okay, I want to try and be a professional. Yes, I want to continue learning in a collegiate age range from 18 to 22, going to university, things like that. But if I have a team that wants to, show me and want me to be a part of how things are for them in the Segunda, it's an opportunity for me to grow. I mean, I imagine that those conversations are pretty long. And, I imagine that you're wanting to go in one path, knowing that you can do other things in addition to that path. And, you probably have some stuff with your family where it's a lot of earnest discussions about, okay, this was a great opportunity. Now what? What's it like having those kinds of talks? And you can tell me as much as you want, but I imagine that the conversations that you're having, with your family, they're pretty deep. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we do have a lot of talks like that. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty like honest with myself, I think, and I'm open. Like, I'm not just just going crazy, just doing whatever I want. I have other stuff like I'm doing, like working on dental, like I'm doing school for dental, like hygienist.
Okay.
So doing that, but obviously soccer is like my number one thing I'm trying to do. But I'm also, I have other stuff, so it's, they're kind of understanding.
Well, so then where did the interest in dentistry for those two consonants next to each other? The interest in dentistry, that's not something that you come across a lot with athletes. How did the interest in dentistry and being a hygienist come to be?
Well, it was mostly from just going to the dentist. Like, I liked the guy that was cleaning my teeth. Like, he was a good guy. He was also from like Africa. Like, I'm from Tanzania, but he was from Algeria. But we were just talking. Yeah, he liked what he did. I thought it was pretty cool. So, and my dad is a doctor, so
okay,
he like talked to one of the people over there, and I went and like shadowed with the lady, and that's where.
So where are you right now when it comes to studies and university and playing and juggling all of these things, plus the idea of possibly leaving in April and then leaving again in August and possibly in the fall doing other things? Where are you when it comes to trying to balance your studies and the interest from Gijon and all of that? Where are you right now in that pathway?
Right now, I've just finished up like the testing part to get into the dental like school in September. And right now it's just I'm still talking to the people in Spain, and I got to give them a final heads up whether I'm going to come back for the tournament, and then also just got to figure out all the visa stuff to be coming back in August. So that's where I'm at right now.
Okay. So when you mention all of those different things, I mean, that's a lot of stuff to sit there and have to digest as someone who's, 18, 19 years old and understanding that your future is there. What did you take from the experience of going over for that 2 weeks that you think can help you the most try to take that next step? Because I asked about what you thought you needed to work on leaving high school and heading to the next level. Where do you think you are now on that pathway now that you've had that 2 weeks and you've come back? What did you learn? And now what do you think those next growth parts are in your game, you think?
I would say, I would say again, it's just the quickness in thinking. Like over there, I think I would say it's maybe not less physical, but I would say it's much more technical though. Like the ball is just everything about the ball, so, and they think everything is like in a system, like they move the same, like, I don't know, it's very tactical and technical, and so you just have to think and just be more you have to think as a team. You can't just play as for yourself. Like it's more team oriented. So
how much of a change was that for you?
Uh,
Not much.
I would say it was a change, but I think it's easy. It's not too difficult to adjust. Just a few training sessions and you can get the hang of it. But yeah, it was a change though. Yeah,
No doubt. Let me ask you another couple of questions, and thank you for doing this, especially on an afternoon when you probably could be doing like 98 other things and getting back in shape and sharpening your soccer self and all of that kind of stuff. You mentioned how it was kind of like being a fish out of water going over for that 2 weeks. And you mentioned what it was like, what you learned from a soccer perspective. What did you learn about yourself as a person being over there by yourself and having to kind of learn on the fly and understand a bunch of different cultures and languages and things like that? Did you learn anything about yourself that you might not have necessarily known going in?
I would say, I don't know. I don't know if this is like something new,
Mm-hmm.
but while I was there, I mean, I would spend a lot of it would just be training and then eating and in my room and then eating again and then training. So it would be pretty repetitive, but I would say just your family, friends, are very important. Like those are the only people like calling you, and those are the only people you're talking to over there, pretty much the whole time. So just those are very important. And also, I, I don't usually like when I'm here in the U.S. Like I don't usually just go out for like walks, but over there I did. I don't know why, but probably because it was a new place. But yeah, I just probably gonna start doing that more often. It was nice. And
Well, I mean, I would imagine that, you're did they have you like in a
in the
hotel or
facility,
in their own facility there on the grounds where basically it's like you wake up, you go to the calf, you get your food, you get your breakfast, you're out training or you're in the weight room, and it's so literally it's like a hamster wheel. It's like
yeah,
go from A to B, B to C, C to D, day is over, time's your own. But if you don't have your own set of wheels, you're going back to your room and you're stuck in these four walls and
yeah.
you get a little stir crazy. So no, I could understand the idea of going out and taking those walks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, I would say that and family, just family and friends. They're the ones that are gonna be there for you.
WhatsApp or unlimited talk and text with international calling. How did you handle that? FaceTime?
Yeah, I would do. In the beginning, it was WhatsApp, and then I figured out like, okay, you can do FaceTime on the Wi-Fi. So it was I started doing FaceTime.
There you go.
So, yeah,
So, we mentioned all of these different things, and I wanted to see how different a person you came out the other side with this trial, because it's very, very rare that, teams from second divisions, they'll reach out to you and they'll sit there and go, hey, we want you to come over and do these kinds of things. What would you say to anyone that might be an athlete of your age range that is thinking about UPSL? And the way that I'm asking this is, how has your time with North Georgia United helped you, and your time in UPSL help you to get you to the trials and get you contact and all that kind of stuff? How would you mention what North Georgia United / UPSL has meant to you in this entire process?
yeah. They've been there for me the whole time. I mean, I was like 17, 16, and I mean, they trusted me. They would put me in games. Like most people, some people didn't even play. So, and they put me in the games so I would get better and get used to playing with the, bigger, stronger guys, experienced guys. So, I mean, that helped me out. Like, it made things easier when you're playing, like when you go back to playing to people like similar to your age, it makes things easier. So, yeah, I mean, I appreciate them and they helped me a lot with that. So,
When is your next competitive match?
for North Georgia, we'd have a break this
Okay.
week. Then, so in 2 weeks.
Okay. And so then you'll start racking up the tape all over again with North Georgia and with the UPSL.
Yep.
Jaycee, I cannot thank you enough for helping out here and letting us know what's going on with everything.
Yeah.
And really appreciate all of this that is attached to everything that you got going on and helping out with helping us out know about the UPSL. Can't thank you enough for all of this. You know our phone number now. You know the email. You know how to get in here. You know where the key is under the mat. So if there's anything going on in what's going on with you in the UPSL, do not hesitate to reach back out. You know how to get in touch with us anytime. You know we're going to be keeping an eye on you, especially maybe April, maybe August, maybe September, October. We're going to have to keep an eye on you now.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Thank you.